Perfect. All right, so we can start now. Welcome everyone to this webinar for integrators, where we're going to show the API solution of B2Brouter to be able to change electronic documents. Our API basically allows us to create invoices, manage contacts, set up different delivery methods, and integrate all this data from an external application like an ERP system or a CRM, or even so for issued invoices. Normally, you will be generating these records on the ERP system on your side, and then sending this information to B2Brouter through the API. And for the received invoices, you will be able to receive invoices at B2Brouter from different networks. We will see. You will see it now on the demo, and you will be able to integrate that that information from received invoices on your system. Okay. First of all, to start, we got this test environment where you can register and start using the API. Or test environment is connected to different test environments like Peppol network test environment and some other local test environments. So that way we can do end-to-end testing perfectly from the test environment, so without sending real invoices. Okay, you have this link here to register on the test environment, so you can do it whenever you want, and then we will follow these steps shown here at the introduction to be able to end up our registration, ask for permissions, and then you will be able to start operating with the API. Because once you register your account, it will be created with this basic permissions that you can see here, and you will need to get this enterprise permissions. Okay, to do so, as we explain here, you will have to submit a support ticket requesting permissions for this staging account. You can do it from here, from this support menu, and just like write a ticket there asking for permissions. We will give you permissions, and once you get the permissions, you will be able to come to this developers menu, where you will find out this account ID and also this API key. This is what we actually need to start operating with the API. And here you already have the link for the API documentation that is the same that we are looking here. And I will also copy this link on the chat so you can check this API reference page whenever you want. Okay. Also, so some more information. Okay. So, well, basically here we explain to you that the API key should be provided in the request headers with this name. Okay. Also that we got two response formats, XML and JSON on the API. You can choose on each request which response you want, which format of response you want. Yeah, we got the URLs here for production and test environment. Okay, it's completely separated test environment from production environment right now. And well, then we explain you a little bit about the account identifiers. But basically, if you just created an account, you just will have one account identifier. But if you got like a group of companies, then all the companies will be shown here. You will share the same API key, but the account identifier will be unique for each of them. So some more information. There is some rate limits that you can check here for the API on test environment and production environment. Yeah, you will get this error or this response from the API when you do too many responses, too many requests. Yeah, and well, here we show you some best practices, and we also have here the open API reference in the YAM field, which can be downloaded from this link. Okay, So this would be everything as an introduction. And how we're going to set up this session. So basically, we're going to do a first part where I will do a demo. On this demo, we're going to basically generate an invoice from the API and send it, and then track the status of this invoice that has been sent. And then we're gonna open another time slot, or I will just give you some minutes to make questions, and so we are able to answer them here. Yeah, but anyways, if I'm doing the demo and you got some questions on the road, you can write them on the chat. I am checking the chat while I'm doing the demo also, so if I'm able to answer the questions while I'm doing the demo, I'll do so. Okay, so do not hesitate to ask any question, to write anything on the chat. Okay, perfect. So here you will see that I've got my account already created and set up. In this case, it's our company B2Brouter Global on the test environment. And you can see that here we got on the account settings, like the basic information that it's needed to register the account. We just need this basic information about the identifier of the company, some address, and also yeah, a currency, and we can add a logo type. Obviously this is not needed, but this is the basic information that you need to generate the account. Okay, perfect. So first of all, we can generate an invoice through the API, but we got like different ways to do that. In this demo, I will show you, you can see here like all the list of calls that are possible on the API. On this case, we will generate an invoice with JSON format directly from here with the form that we got. We also got some mapping guides. So you can see like every field at B2Brouter which business term is related with, okay, or is equivalent. And yeah, and the other way to generate an invoice at B2Brouter would be to import it if you are already generating any XML format, electronic invoice format, like any kind of UBL, CII format. It could be Fatturapa format in Italy, for example, or Facturai in Spain, or Peppol based billing tree. If you are already generating that from the ERP, you can import it directly from here. And if you are not generating with your ERP system any kind of electronic invoice format, and that's also answering your question, Anna, you can directly create the invoice on B2Brouter with this create an invoice. This is what we will actually do. Okay. To be able to create an invoice, we will have to create a contact first. We can do that from here, contacts, and create a contact. Okay. Or we can also directly on the same call to be able to create the invoice that we're going to see now. It's also possible to inform the contact information, so you don't have to do like this 2 steps, and you can do it just like in one call. Okay, because here on the create an invoice, we will see now like the main information that we have to inform here. We can relate a contact ID if it's been generated before. So we will have the internal ID of that contact. You will see that every time that we create an object, an entity at B2Brouter, whatever, if it's an invoice, contact, etc., tax report, the API will always give us back as a response an ID, also an internal ID of that entity that we will be able to use later on. Okay, but if we don't have an ID, a contact ID, because we didn't create it before, We also have this contact object here, where we can directly create the contact if it's not created, and also if it's created and the information is the same, we will relate it to the existing contact already. So this works perfectly also, and it's a good option too. Okay, so for this demo, I will start setting up this API reference page. You will see here that we can inform the API key at the top on these credentials. So this API reference works as a postman, okay? We can make the calls from here. We can also select any language that we want, and you will see that the API request will be updated. Okay, and also I need this account ID that I will inform here on the path parents. And as I said before, we can select the format of the API response. That can be either JSON or XML. I will keep on JSON. Yeah. So, okay, and then we got some body params. We can choose if we want to create the invoice but not send it yet, to keep it like on a draft status. Because maybe later on we want to add an attachment for this invoice, for example. And then when we got everything done on that invoice, then we can send it with this send an invoice call, okay? But we got also the option to put the send after info option true. And in this case, if we do that, the invoice will be sent automatically after the creation, okay? On this company, I also want to show you that in this case, this company is based on Spain, as you've seen here from the account settings configuration. And I've got some tax reporting system activated here that is becoming mandatory in Spain now, which is called Verifacto. Okay, maybe you are not interested on this, but maybe some of you are interested in also tax reporting apart from e-invoicing. So we will be showing both things at the same time, because here at B2Brouter we are able to generate these tax reports for some countries like Italy, Spain, France, that it's also coming, Saudi Arabia, Malaysia. Yeah, so we will see how this works. Basically, we got like an automatization that whenever, if you enable this tax report setting, that this you can do it from the platform. You can also do it from the API, from this tax report setting endpoint. Whenever you enable this, then when you create and send any invoice, we will automatically take the data from that invoice to generate the tax report, send it to the tax authority, get back the status from the tax authority, and we will show that. Okay. Then we got another question from Hannah saying, would it be possible to have the same according to France law taxes? If you're talking about this setting, yes, we are now working on our final test for this solution on France, that it's like a lot of things, right? Because it's e-invoicing and e-reporting also. It will be also available to send the invoices through Peppol network, but also between PDPs. So yeah, there is a lot there. We are doing our final test because we are already on the process and certified solution on France. And once we end up with the testing, we will publish this setting here at B2Brouter for French companies, and it will be also available from the API. So you can start testing on France. But yeah, it will be the same logic. You will be able to, I mean, here on the API, we got two kind of endpoints. We got this invoice endpoints where you can create an invoice, and then if you got the tax report setting, we take the data from the invoice to generate the tax report. And then we got the tax report calls where you can directly create the tax report. If, for example, you are doing the invoicing part on your own and you just need the tax reporting part, we are also able to do that separated from the e-invoicing. Okay. But yeah, it will be on the ape. Obviously, it's not like the same kind of type of tax reporting precisely, but the behavior on our API, it will be very, very similar. So you will be using the same API calls. Okay. Okay, so let's go directly to generate an invoice. I'll show you how to do so. I will use an existing contact that I already have created. I will take the ID from one of these contacts. This is the ID. I could list it from the API too. So if I want to list different client IDs, contact IDs, I can come here on contacts and we got a list call, list contacts. Then I can try it, and here the API will. Okay, I was missing my account ID. And then the API, we can tell the API to show 500 contacts every time. Or we can use like different filters also. So here we got the ID of each contact, but as I know that I can get it from here, I just quickly got it from here. Okay, so what do we need to be able to create an invoice at B2Brouter and then generate it on any XML format? Because you know that we can make from this JSON extraction formats on Germany, or even Zugwärts, or or Svenska Faktura on Sweden, or whatever, right? That's the idea, to facilitate just like one input, this JSON form, and then you can get any output, any format as output. Yeah. Okay, so I will set this send after import true. I want to be able to automatically generate the invoice and automatically send it once it's created. Then we will have to inform the number of the invoice. To check that, I will just come here on the income menu. I will check the last invoice that okay, and I'll just copy it and modify the last number. Okay, I'll put here 2. And then we need also the contact ID as we said before. So let's go back to take this ID. Okay, perfect. And then what else do we need? We need at least a date for the invoice. We will set up the date of today, for example. So we are 2025. Okay, month 10 and day 3. I will copy this to just modify the month on the due date. And then you will see that we got like a lot of hidden information that you can inform, like PO numbers, different references, contract numbers, etc. I will directly go to the creation of the lines. Okay, so we will go to invoice line attributes, and what do we need for each line at list? So we need a quantity, the unit price, I'll set up it as 10 also. Then at least the description, this would be the name of the product service. We can set default units, but we could select any of these ones. We could add discounts, charges, etc. But the mandatory thing would be to add some BAT to the line. In this case, I will use standard BAT of 21%, which is the standard rate on Spain. Okay. And finally, I will need the payment method. Yeah. So how I want to collect this invoice. I will set up this one code which is like cash directly. Okay, so I don't have to inform any other information like if I use the bank transfer, which would be one of the most used. Then I will also have to inform the IBAN field. Okay, so I will have to say, okay, I want to collect the invoice on this IBAN account. Okay, on this bank account. Okay. So with this information, I should be able to generate the invoice already and get a response, and the tax report also will be generated. So let's see how this all works. And if I'm missing any information, or if you are missing any information from the invoice, then the API will tell you which information you are missing. Okay, so that's also cool. Okay. Okay, the invoice has been created and I've got all the information about this invoice. So I've got this ID of the invoice that we will be able to use later on to check the status of the invoice. This invoice with this identifier is created under this company. This is the client. Okay, the current status right now is sending because we just triggered the sending. Here we see like the taxes, and we see that this invoice will be sent on Factura 3.2 XML, as this recipient is a public administration on Spain, and we have to send him this Factura 3.2 format, as it's mandatory for B2G invoicing on Spain. Okay. You can see here on the contact at the platform that we got here this transport and document type. So this would be, where do I have to send this invoice? So in this case, it's on this access point for invoices of public entities in Spain, and here it is on the Catalonia region, because there are like different entry points on Spain, and this is the format. How do I set up this information on the contact? So I can set it up on the contact directly if I want, or at the same invoice creation like we've seen, the contact object would be the same. Okay, and we have it here on document type code and transport type code. Okay, so for example, imagine that you are using Peppol. That would be the case for France probably, and for Belgium that will be mandatory through Peppol network since January 1. So then you would use here Peppol and XML UBL invoice base 3, okay, because it's a Peppol base bearing tree format. The good thing also is that we got a directory. This directory is filled with all the participants on Peppol network. all the recipients of public administrations on different countries, also some private companies that could be registered on some networks to be able to receive invoices. We are getting this information from different sources. And the good thing is that if you don't fill this information, but we got that information on our directory, we will fill that information for you. So we will always respect if you just inform these fields, transport type code and document type code, we will respect what you give here, okay, what you inform here. But if you are not informing it, then we will like fill it for you from the directory. We got like more explanation about how directory works on this guides part, and also you can make a lookup on this directory, like with different information, with the scheme code, with the country code, etc. So this is interesting also because you can previously to generate an invoice or to create a contact, you can check if we got that contact or not on our directory. So for example, if I try to find this one, we will see that we got all this information from this recipient. So we got the name obviously, but also like all the address information, and also how they actually receive invoices, the transport and the format, and also the routing codes that are needed on the network that we have to send the invoice, right? So it's all the information that we need basically to send an invoice to this contact. So this is really helpful, okay? Sometimes depending on the source, we got more or less information. Maybe we don't have the information from the, for example, on the Peppol directory, we don't have the information of the address, for example, but we got the information of the transport type code, document type code, also the routing codes that on Peppol network. This is the PIN, okay, the Peppol identifier number used as a routing code, so that would be enough. Okay, so we have created the invoice and it was sent already. And now we should check how do we check the status of this invoice, because it was sending. Now we see from the platform that it's received, it's registered. Okay, we also see that we got this QR code. This QR code is the tax reporting that I was talking about, where it sends us to the pre-production environment of the tax authority in Spain. And here we see, okay, yeah, the tax agency has this record of the invoice with this data. Okay, perfect. Okay, but we see that the invoice is on this registered status. Also, the tax report, the Verifacto itself, the Verifacto looks like this. It's this tax report. And it's basically this XML that it's sent on a specific way, not like one by one in a ledger, but whatever. We got here the information and the status from this tax report. This tax report has an ID also that that we got from the API, and the invoice has another ID that we got from the API. And for both things, we can check directly with the ID, which is the status of the tax report and which is the status of the invoice. So let's come back here. And here we got this get an invoice, and with the ID, we can already ask the API for the information about this invoice. We can specify if we want more detailed lines information or not, okay? But this would be enough to check the state of this invoice. In this case, we can see here that the state is registered. And if I go to the tax report, this would be the tax report. It has another identifier, and I can check from tax report endpoints and this list tax reports, all the information about the tax report. Okay, no, sorry, this list tax reports is the other way to do that I will show now, but I want to show you the get first. Okay, okay, okay. All right, so here we got like all the information, the URL, the QR code on PNG and Bibit on base 64, also the XML on base 64. Yeah, all the information related with the tax report and also the status of the tax report. And in this case, it's the status related with the tax authority, not with the client of the invoice. Okay, not with our customer, to say so. All right. The other way to check this this information would be listing this information. We can use like different filters. So if I do it from here, we will see that we got different. Now I'm listing just 25, and we got like a lot on this account. But you can see here like all the tax reports with all the states. Okay, and all the information on a list with different filters that you can also apply. You could filter by invoice ID, okay, by sent at from or updated at from, and the same for invoices. We can use the list of invoices. But still, we got another option to get back this status from invoices and tax reports. That would be webhooks. Okay, let's show quickly just this list of issued invoices. We will see that here we will have like less information about the invoice, but enough information to track the status, because basically what we want is the status. So here we got an invoice record. You see that it's all this is the invoice record related to this invoice. With this ID and this number, and we can check the status is registered. And then we have another invoice record with this information and this status, okay, and then another one. Okay, the other way to manage this would be, instead of calling our API, you can set up this webhooks configuration from here, developers webhooks, and you can put here your URL where we will post the status changes for issued invoices if we activate it, or for tax reports if we activate it, or for both if we activate them both. Okay, and we will basically send you the same information, but on these webhooks whenever an invoice changes its status, an issued invoice, or whenever a tax report changes its status. Okay. Okay, also here you can see that we got like more information about the webhook signature, because here you can see that we got a signature key that we can use to validate the webhook. Well, we got here on the guides part like more information about it. I don't want to go deep on this, as I want to leave now some minutes for questions. Okay. Because we already seen now like all the flow for issuing invoices. You know now that you can import an XML. If you are already creating that, then you don't need to create a contact, because the contact information is already inside the XML, and we can create the contact from that information. If you don't generate any XML format, you can use this create an invoice to just send us the data in JSON on the fields that we have seen, and with that you are already able to generate an invoice with the contact information on the same invoice call, or creating the contact before, and we can send the invoice and then track the status of this invoice. That it's basically what we need. And in case of in case that there is tax reporting needed for that company or that country, the tax report will be generated, and we can also track the status of the tax report. Obviously, we got like tons of like more options that you can do. You can, when you send the invoice, you can download the legal invoice from the API. You can also get a copy of this invoice that has been sent on PDF view. Well, we got like a lot of options, but we don't have time to show them all. So I just wanted to introduce you a little bit on our API. And if you want to go like deeper on any topic, I recommend you to start playing with it, checking like the different calls and checking for sure this guides part where we got use cases explained with samples, with the request bodies and the responses. For example, let's see if you want to do this kind of tax reporting on Spain, which is Verifacto. So we got a guide explaining everything here, okay, about Verifacto and the flows that we support for Verifacto with example requests and example responses. Yeah, so here you can see, like I'll explain it. We also recommend you some flows and yeah, and how you can manage errors, etc. Okay, same for sending invoices through Peppol network, for example, that here we got be a JSON payload, and you can see here which fields are important to inform when sending an invoice to Peppol network. You can see here the fields that I was talking about before for Peppol, pin scheme and pin value, which are the routing codes. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we got something special for credit notes. Good question, Jan Philip. Basically, if you want to generate a credit note, you will use the same call, create an invoice, but you will have to inform two specific fields, basically, that I will show you now. And that way we will be able to create a credit note type, okay, of document. And also it should be in, I mean, there are some countries that are not informing credit notes in negative. That's true. UK, for example. But I would recommend you to always inform credit notes on negative, okay? The fields to be able to generate a credit note are amended number, okay? So you inform the number of the invoice that you are amending, okay? And amended date, okay? So you invoice, so you inform also the date of the original invoice, okay, that you are amending. Or I mean, there is a good question from James. Let me see 1 second if I can show you a page that will clarify you like which countries we cover or not. So if I come here, okay. Mm, mm, mm. Well, I will have to change the language for sure. Let me see if I can go to the main page. Okay. And let me see if I'm able to find out what I'm looking for. Okay. Electronic invoicing by countries. Yeah. So here you can get an idea about the countries that we are supporting and how. Okay. So first of all, here, we have to understand that different countries got like different requirements. There are countries that have mandatory B2G invoicing, countries that have mandatory B2B invoicing, countries that doesn't have mandatory B2B or B2G or even B2C invoicing, but they have tax reporting that it's mandatory. Okay, so each country is a little bit different. Okay, but here you can check like country per country. Example, I don't know. We can check. We can click here Belgium. Okay, which is coming mandatory soon. And here you can see the important dates for Belgium, January 1, 2026, the B2B invoicing, okay, domestic B2B invoicing will be mandatory through Peppol network, okay? Also then for 2028, they will implement tax reporting, okay? But this is not coming now, which is what is coming now is B2B invoicing. We are already supporting that, okay? So we are ready for Belgium 2026 because we are certified Peppol access point. So you know now that we are 100% compliant with Belgium right now, and basically here you can see like all the countries where we can operate, sometimes like in different levels, but I would say countries that that we can work right now are Andorra, Austria, Belgium, Finland, France, Croatia. I'm not saying it. We can do e-invoicing, okay? But here they are introducing another mandate on 2026 that will be um, that will be not only through Peppol network but also on different local network, and also with some art sharing requirements, etc., etc. So I'm not 100% sure if we will cover like everything for Croatia, so I'm skipping it from now. But just to give you an idea of which countries we are like totally compliant right now, and or we will be like totally compliant on the next mandate. It will be Austria, Belgium, Finland, France, Germany, Iceland, Ireland, Italy, Luxembourg, Malta, Netherlands, Norway, Poland, that we are developing it right now. Portugal is a little bit special, so I will leave it apart. Slovenia is a little bit special too, so I will leave it apart. Spain, we are also 100% compliant for sure. Sweden, Switzerland, and United Kingdom. So these countries from Europe, we are already supporting them. The others that I skip it, we are like half compliant, or we can do the part of invoicing but not the part of tax reporting, or there are like different cases for these countries. Then we also have Saudi Arabia, and then in Asia we support Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia have like invoicing with tax reporting clearance model. We are supporting that. Asia, we got Japan, Singapore, Malaysia, that they are using Peppol network, and we are supporting that too. And Australia and New Zealand, they are using Peppol network too. We are supporting that too. Okay. Maybe in the Middle East, the unit Arabic Emirates also joining the Peppol network, but now they postponed the mandate times. But we are also looking to implement it. So yeah, that's the thing. Okay, good question about the countries that we are supporting and what's coming next. But yeah, we try to give this. I mean, we are a bit without a global because we got like this global approach. We try to be compliant not only just in one country but in all the countries on Europe, and also across the world. We are going to countries on the Middle East, also in Asia. So you can see here. And Jean-Philippe then said, how to view incoming invoices? Okay, that's another good question. I won't be able to like show everything here, but we got a very nice guide that explain you how to work with receiving invoices. I will just give you the generic overview about how to manage receiving invoices. From the platform and from the API, you can set up different ways to be able to receive invoices. One way would be through Peppol Network. So you can get published on Peppol Network through B2Brouter. To do so from the application, you can do it from here, Peppol Activation, and then you make your request here. here on this account, I am already published. You can see with this identifier, we are published in Peppol SML. So so this is already done, but if you don't have this process, you will see here that you have to attach a document to validate your identity and accept the Peppol agreement. And when you do so, you will see a button request Peppol activation, and we will make the activation. So you can start sending and receiving invoices through Peppol network. That would be just one way to be able to receive invoices. Depending on the country, it will be mandatory to do it one way, or we could have other ways. The other ways that we have are, for example, enabling a mailbox where you can receive all types of invoices, even PDF, and then we got like an OCR process. But the idea to have like the better or the best the best automatization is to receive XML formats, electronic invoice formats. You can enable this email to be able to receive these invoices, and they will come here on the expenses menu. Okay, we even got like more options that are shown there from the API. You can see here on the transport, create a transport configuration. And then you got here the internal transport B2B router, transport email, Peppol. Okay, so we got here different possibilities. And once you enable it, you will start receiving these invoices here on the expenses menu. You will see here that we got some invoices received. Okay, you can see. And then you will have to start the flow listing the received invoices. So from invoices, list of received invoices, I can't say it right now. Okay, it's here. So basically, you will list these invoices to take the ID of every invoice. Okay, you can see the different IDs, and with this ID, you can choose what you want. Okay, you can say, okay, I just want the data of this invoice in JSON. So I can do this and display detailed lines or or lines or no lines, whatever I want to, and get all the information from this received invoice. But maybe you want to download the original invoice and store it on your system. So here you can use this get an invoice with a specific document type and ask for any format transformation. You got all the code list of the document type codes here on the code list endpoint. Okay, so you could select, okay, I want this invoice that has come, for example, in Peppol Biz Billing 3. I want it in XML Factor A 3.2. Okay, perfect. Or I want a PDF invoice, a PDF view of this invoice. Or I could say I want the original invoice that was submitted. So just write original, and in this case, it was actually Peppol Biz Billing 3 format. So you got all these possibilities. You can see here on the guides part that we have, because we are running out of time already, that we got this guide, receive, integrate, and manage received invoices. So this guide is very, very interesting to get a good overview on how to manage received invoices, which flow to implement, which options do we have, and how to set up them. Okay, because then you can also change the status of these received invoices to say, okay, I do accept this invoice, or I don't want to accept this invoice. I will refuse it, and I will add a reason, and then this status change notification will be sent to the sender of the invoice. So yeah, you can check everything here. Okay, so I think that it's been quite quite a lot already. Yeah, we are able to generate simplified invoices or B2C invoices and tax reports of that. There are like different models. For example, in Italy, there is like a special model of that. We are supporting that. On Spain, we got like different models too. But the thing is that when you create the invoice, yeah, and also we got like even other possibilities. But if you come here to invoices, and you use this create an invoice, that is a specific attribute here, which is this type. And you can see here that we got different possibilities. By default, it's issued invoice, right? But you can create a received invoice from here if you want to, or you can create an issued self invoice. Okay, so that's another possibility. Or you can create an issued simplified invoice. This would be the B2C e-invoicing. Um, and and that's the way to do it from the API. Here on the platform, on the income menu, we got like commercial invoices for the normal invoices, but you can see here that we got simplified invoices, self invoices, and we even have other options here like quotes or orders, dispatch advices, etc. Okay, I think that I don't have anything here, but yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I've got something. Okay. And these are like mm, pre draft or yeah, pro form invoice. So they are not like real invoices, but we got some tests here. So yeah, we got like many possibilities on the platform and also from the API. All right, so we will end it up now. I think that it's been really interesting, really good questions. Just so you know, we are here like every 2 weeks doing this session at the same hour. If you want to join, feel free to join whenever you want. If you want to join only for the questions part, for example, there is no problem. You can do so whenever you want. And yeah, and just a reminder that we got this caution part. So if you register on the test environment and then you got any question that you think that might be interesting for everyone, you can publish it here. If you want, if you are making test, for example, and you got any question or any doubt or any issue, you can use also this support menu to be able to open a ticket, and we will answer you with our technical support team. So yeah, anything that you need, you know how to reach us. So I hope to see you soon here.